And hello to Rusty Pro and SA Spacers. How's it going? Yeah. Okay, so like I said, today I was just gonna see if anybody had any questions, and if you have a question, feel free to let me know, and I will see if I can answer it for you. Oh, hey, Baraket and Spacers, thank you so much. That was a great milestone. I was like actually like super surprised that I made it to that. I never really expected it, but yeah, here we are. And yeah, let's hope it keeps growing. And hello, G Nerd. I'm not sure what DD means, but hello, little sing it. And like I said, oh, India, Crazy Dunia. Yeah, I know that name. So, like I said, I don't really have anything planned for tonight. It's evening here. But, if you have a question, feel free to pop in and I'll see if I can answer it. Hey, Kai. And yeah, see what I can do. And I do have it set to slow mode just to kind of avoid too much chatting, so because I can't focus that well. So basically, you can put one thing per minute. Maybe I should change that, but I'm not really sure how now at this point. So I guess we'll leave it that way. Um, Spacers, 20 subs. Hey, you know what? You got to start somewhere. And that's one of the things I think people don't realize. I'm not the world's greatest YouTuber. I don't know if I make the greatest content. I make okay content, but there are a lot of much better YouTubers out there, which is always the thing. And I find that there's been a lot of channels that have come and gone. My channel's about 5 years old, and the big difference between the other channels and my channel is that I didn't give up, and I'm still producing content. I'm still trying to help people, and I understand it's a lot of work, and financially it really isn't worth it based on the amount of time I put into this. But I do enjoy it mostly, except when I get rude comments. But I do hope that it is providing a good service, and maybe it will grow into something that I can use, for my life. Little Sing It. I am an American, but I live in Japan. I'm in Tokyo right now. And G Nerd, do you remember me from asking lots of questions in comments? I get a lot of questions in those comments. And Crick Funda, hello. And Kai, if you live in Japan, do you speak Japanese? Yes, mochiron. Nihongo shabarimasu yo. I mean, I'm not very good at it per se, but yes, of course, I speak the language because I live here. Thanks, Javi. I'm going to try. Okay, Vendathan, thank you so much. There's some really valuable paid tutorials, and there's some, tutorials that are paid that aren't worth it. Some are, in a way, I mean, my tutorials aren't free. You have to watch ads. I do get a tiny bit of money from them, so, you're paying with your time, and you're paying with your patience. You're welcome, little sing it. And Kai, do you speak Japanese? Oh, that's right. I guess because I have this thing set to 1 minute pop out chat. Let me see if I can change that in the middle. I haven't tried this before. Let's see here. Live chat. Okay, let's change that to 30 seconds. Save. Okay, so I've changed it to. Okay, I've changed the slow mode to 30 seconds. Kai, you speak Greek. That's pretty cool. G-Nerd, yes, thank you for that. I do like the turtle module myself. And just out of curiosity, is this thing still working? All my numbers went off. There we go. Yeah, it's back. I guess when you change something, it takes a little bit of time. Thanks, RS. Yeah, yeah. Snake and Pong are really, really popular, along with the Space Invaders. Oh, spacers. That sounds really cool. CSS, HTML, and Java. Are you sure it's not JavaScript? Because I don't really see Java used with HTML and CSS very often. But good luck. Little sing it face cam. Not today. I get that a lot. I'm not quite sure why anybody cares what I look like. But I can tell you today, I do not look that well. Here, let me check the mirror. Oh yeah, no, today's not a good day. Thank you, Nightmare Actual. I appreciate that. My videos just started out as something I made for my students, and I just posted it here because I needed a place to put it. And then one day I realized that I had 1,000 subscribers, and yeah, it's just been growing consistently ever since. So thanks everybody. Do I have a turtle module tutorial that makes the shark typing game stuff? Gina, I do not know what the shark typing game is, so the answer is no. Sorry about that. Spacers, website development. Okay. I'm guessing that's JavaScript, not Java. Okay, Crick Funda, thanks so much. I guess it just takes time to build up subscribers. One thing is, I know I haven't been really consistent with my channel. The other thing is, I think from what I'm told is people really want to see what you look like, and I'm just a little camera shy. So here we are. Kai, you are very welcome. I'm glad I was able to help you get into coding. Yeah, it's a good thing. And Abe. Ooh, that's an interesting question. Love your snake game tutorials. Thank you so much. Is there a 3D version of the turtle module? The short answer to that one is no. I've been kind of playing around with a little bit of 3D stuff, but I just haven't quite figured it out yet myself. Gina, I am camera shy myself. Well, welcome to the club. But Abby Roy, the thing with 3D, you can do like kind of like a pseudo, like a fake kind of 3D effect. I've played around with that a little bit, but I haven't really done a lot with that yet. And hello to Adit. And again, if I mispronounce anybody's name, I do apologize. It's not something I intend to do. I do my best with names. A chatbot. Chatbot's kind of an interesting one. I haven't really done anything with that myself. But like one of the things I think with chatbots, how do you get a chatbot to chat to you? You look for like kind of like pattern matching. I'm not 100% sure actually how to do that in Python, but that's something I'd have to look up. I do not use Unity. And Kai, do I know Kali Linux? I've heard the name, but I don't use it. I use Ubuntu myself. Oh, Sudoku. Yeah, I don't. Probably for Sudoku, I would probably use the tkinter for that instead. But you could probably do it with Turtle as well. And hi, hello, no problem. I just started, and I was just saying, I don't really have a particular plan for the night. I just thought I'd pop on because it's been a while and see if anybody had any questions I could try to answer. And I do have my, I don't know what you call it. I have my thing set up for to code. If anybody has anything, I can show you like a simple thing that I have time for. So so don't be shy if you have a question, a specific question. You can check for chatbots using PyAutoGUI. Yeah, I mean, Kai, the hard part of the chatbot isn't the interface. That's easy. It's the actual chatting. It's the actual going back and forth. Ronnie, do you watch any series on Netflix? I'm watching Discovery, Star Trek, big Star Trek fan, and I am watching Walking Dead. I never watched it before, so I'm pretty into that. Gina, NumPy is a Python module that lets you do a lot of stuff with what are those things called, matrices and different types of mathematical type operations. But I don't know a lot about it, to be perfectly honest. Spacers, how did you start with coding? That's a good question. I started coding a very, very, very long time ago. Let me see if I can find my first computer. You'll be shocked what this thing is. Sinclair 1000. Okay, so if you're in what's that place? If you're from Britain, this would have been called a ZX81, but I am from the United States, so here is the picture of the very first computer I ever owned and ever used. And oops, I gotta switch. Hang on one second. I gotta switch over to the next screen. Okay, so here is a picture of the first computer I had, and it came out in July of 1982, and it had 2K. That's not a misprint. That's not megabytes. That's not gigabytes. That's kilobytes of RAM, and it actually connected to a television. And this is where I first learned to code. and it was horrible in a lot of ways. But we didn't know any better back then. So you can see this is the programming language. It was called BASIC, and this is what I learned to program on. Let me make that a little bit bigger so text is easier to read for you. And yeah, that's what I did. That's where I started. Then I got a VIC-20, then a Commodore 64, and here I am on my Linux machine. So yeah, it's been a long, strange trip. I can tell you that. Let's see. I want to get rid of that. Let's get back to this. I need to see that. Let's see here. Yeah, Avi, I'm definitely looking into 3D stuff myself, and I've seen Panda. I didn't know about Ursine, but I'll have to check those out sometime. And for each of our turtle, but you would need to learn a lot of math. Yeah, Sid, I've actually kind of started playing around with the math. I can do 2D rotations, but I haven't quite figured out the 3D rotations. There is a motion tracking or something to do with Python. I'm not sure. It's weird. I don't do a lot of the different modules, probably because I teach basic programming, so I don't do a lot of those things. Vendatham, what PC are you using right now? I am using. Actually, there's a. See, let me here. I actually have a link. Amazon. I actually have an Amazon link in most of my videos now to to it. So let me see if I can find that. 1 second. And yeah, here I'll share the actual link with you guys, and I'll show you. This is the computer I use, and that is the laptop that I have, and I actually have a second monitor now that I'm using as well, so that makes things a little bit easier. And yeah, there's a link if anybody's curious. That might be a, what do you call it, an affiliate link. So yeah, just so you're forewarned. Nightmare Actual. I'm about to go to college for computer science. Do you recommend getting fluent with Python? Absolutely, Nightmare Actual. The more you can learn going into college, the better. What I would do though is I would check the college website and find out what language they use for introduction to coding. If they use Python, great, stick with Python. If they use Java, I would get familiar with Java so that you're ready. If they use C++, I would get familiar with C++ so that they are, so that you can be ready when you get there. Yeah, nerd, that was a hard computer to use. But again, we didn't know any better back then. And, here I am years and years and years later, and so it worked out all well. Mr. Bacon, you are good at coding. Do you have any beginner tips? Mr. Bacon, that's a really good question. One of the things I see with beginners, and again, I teach beginners, that's my job. One of the things I see with beginners a lot of times is, and it's understandable, is they really want to jump in and start doing all the cool stuff, all the games and all the graphics and stuff like that. And they really don't learn the basics. And so when I teach, I try to stick to the basics, at least initially. So I think, beginner tip number one is to learn the basics. Wrong button, wrong key. Learn the basics. I have a really short, it's maybe an hour, 2 hours, just basic introduction to Python programming tutorial series. And if the people that want to do my game tutorials would just watch that first, they would have far, far, far fewer problems. But there's no real secret to it other than just practicing. And you follow a tutorial and then start making some changes and see what happens. Break it, fix it, break it, fix it, and then start building your own stuff. Engineer, was that expensive? I think it was $800 US. So I don't know what you consider expensive. My computer, my laptop. There are much, much more expensive computers. But this was, I thought, reasonable price for the power and the ability that it does. I like Asus. I quite like it. I think Apple's very, very expensive, so I tend to avoid Apple. And since I use Linux, it doesn't really matter. So it's really fast, and I quite like the computer. So I definitely recommend it. And Android PC, which server-side language? Ooh, there's a lot of stuff I missed there. Which server-side language do you suggest to learn? Doesn't really matter, I guess. Depends what you want to do. But, for me, I'm kind of a lazy person. Shh, don't tell anybody. But, since you can do Python on the server side, Stick with Python, because then you can do Python on the front end as well. Hello, Bobby. Hello, Rahul. And Kai, is Linux my favorite OS? Absolutely. That's, you can see that's what I use. And, I have it set up kind of look like a Mac. At work, I use Mac. And, oops, that didn't go the way I wanted it. And at work, I have to use a Mac because that's what they provide for us. And so I have it set up a bit more Mac-like. And, I quite like it. I think it's fast. It's secure. Now, I'm not a gamer, so that doesn't bother me that the games aren't available. And I think it's really great for programming. And yeah, I'm quite a big Linux fan. So, and it's free, which is even better. Spacers, that computer looks pretty. I mean, I got it about 2 years ago. I don't know if that's old or not, but yeah, that's what I got. Gina, can you make a full tutorial of NumPy? I would like to do that someday, but I don't know that much about it. I've used it a little bit in some of my classes. I'm studying online myself, computer science, but yeah, I don't know a lot about NumPy yet, but I will soon. Bobby, is it necessary to learn Java to understand or learn JavaScript? No, it is not. Java and JavaScript are two completely different languages. There's almost no relationship between the two. The only thing that's similar is the name, I guess. JavaScript used to be called, I think, OakScript or something like that. It had like this weird name. And then Java came along and they thought, okay, well, Java's really popular, so we'll rename OakScript, I think it was OakScript, to JavaScript. And that is where JavaScript came from. And so, yeah, they're not similar at all. They function quite different. JavaScript is an interpreted language, and whereas Java is a compiled to something called bytecode, and yeah, it's a big difference. Java is object-oriented. It forces object orientation, whereas JavaScript allows you to do objects, I believe, but doesn't force it. So it's quite a different animal. Okay, so sorry, I think I'm missing a few here. I'm trying to keep up. Wow. Cody made easy. Can you tell me how to? That's a big question. Can you tell me how to make a global average pooling neural network? Because CNN with max pooling is not the best. I have no idea what any of that means. But hopefully soon I'll be taking a course in machine learning and neural nets and all that kind of stuff, and maybe then I can answer that. Oh, Spacers. Do you know Colt Steele? Yeah. Colt Steele's, one of the best. Somebody I aspire to be like. Okay. Rahul's asked, what's the difference between front end and back end? So front end, so if I open up this website, so let's go back to here. And this is Wikipedia. So the front end is what you see here. So if I go over to developer, and is it on here? Where is that? I haven't done this for a while. Page source. So this is the source, I think. This is the source of the web page. So we have some HTML. I imagine there's some JavaScript in here as well, and possibly some CSS. So this is the front end. This is what goes to your web browser. This is what's called front end. Now, if I click on something, so if I click on a link, and that will contact the web server, and the web server will, let's say if I do search and I do, let's say C64, so the Commodore 64 home computer, and then you see there was a web page, there was a page in the background that searched the database and came up with all these results. And if I click that, that gives me this. So the front end is what you see. The back end is what you send to send information to the server. Server processes it and sends you more information for the front end. Cody Mazy. TensorFlow. It's going to be one of my things eventually. Weekly Coder has a channel as well, so check that out. Let's see here. Thanks for your video. You are welcome. What is your age? I am pretty old. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. What do you guys think, just based on the sound? Now, my students know how old I am, because I tell them. But coding with Parth, Win versus Mac versus Linux. For beginners, whatever works for you. Probably Windows or Mac, maybe a little bit easier because it's pre-installed. But I think if you take the time to learn Linux, I mean, installing it can be a little bit challenging for a beginner. But if you take the time to learn it, I think you'll be a better computer user and programmer at some point. And LR, good morning. I'm good, thanks. Hope you're doing well. It's actually evening here. It's 7:38 p.m. Hi, hello, copyright. Yes, copyright's important. By the way, people ask me a lot. All my videos are Creative Commons, share alike. A lot of people copy my code and make videos out of my code, and they just don't. Yeah, they just use it, which is great. I'm really happy to see that. But if you're going to use my code, please just say, hey, I got this from Tokyo Eds. I'd appreciate that. Let's see here. Do you find the command line annoying, Kai? I do not find the command line annoying at all. I find it very powerful, and there's just some stuff that's really easy to do in the command line. And it's one of those things, the sooner you learn it, the happier you're going to be. Okay, there's some really cool characters. I don't know the name. It says, what is your average? I don't know what you're asking, sorry. And which language is best for making games? Shiv Prasad. It depends. If your game's going to be on a web page, it's going to be in JavaScript, full stop. I know there's some exceptions, but basically, if it's a web-based thing, you'll probably want to do some JavaScript. If you are doing 3D and high-end graphics, you're probably going to want C++. Although a lot of stuff is in C#. And, Python actually isn't considered a very good language for games because it's not quite as fast. But, yeah, it works for me, so I'm happy. Hello to Safoen. Angie Nerd, take it easy. And Cody Made Easier, welcome. Hi, hello. Yeah, agrees. C# or C++. Wow. Sid, you can actually avoid the error can't terminate window update by doing try window update except... My God. Sid, you are a genius. Because that comes up all the time. Like, it doesn't bother me in the slightest bit that error comes up, but that is actually a really clever idea. I wish I had thought of that. So Sid, thank you. I'm going to put that up here so I don't forget about it. I'm going to say from Sid to avoid, what's it called? The win.update error on close. Do this. Okay, try. I'll put that in the proper and we don't need semicolons. You can't put semicolons in Java or in Python actually, but you don't need to. And so yeah, thanks, Sid. That's something that has been bugging not so much me, but it's been bugging my viewers for ages. Coding Made Easy. You ask a lot of very complex questions. I actually just started learning Django like a week ago for a project, and I've never used React, so sorry. What is my average annual income? That's what we consider a private question, sorry. But probably more than yours. LR, I thought you were 28. Thank you, but no, older. And Weekly Coder, you're very, very welcome. Glad to hear that. Coding Made Easy. Stop asking me questions. You know I don't know that stuff, but maybe someday I will. I do actually want to do a AI tutorial for what's that called? Like either tic-tac-toe or something like that, where like a minimax algorithm, that type of thing. That's something that I have learned, but haven't got around to that in a while. Spacers. My analog clock crashed your computer. Now that is a weird thing. Psygeek, is 28 too late to learn to get programming for a job? This is a really good question. There is some ageism in the tech world. It's something I follow quite often, quite a lot. Because again, I'm a bit older. I'm actually a teacher, but I may at some point decide to become a programmer since I have a background in it. And no, 28 is definitely not too old to do anything. 28-year-olds think 28 is old, but 28 is not even remotely old. So, no. Weekly Coder, what did Sid mean? Could you explain? So, in a lot of my programs, well, here, I'll just show you. So I'll go import turtle, and then turtle, let's say Bob equals turtle, and I'm going to say while true, bob.fd, let's see, 100, bob.lt, let's try this, 90, and tab that over, and I'm going to say win equals turtle.screen and win.tracer 0. Okay, so I think this is what this will show the code. So the question was, what did Sid mean from weak decoder? So I'm going to run this and see what happens. Okay, I got an error. And what did I do wrong? It didn't get an error, but it just stopped. Now, why is that? Okay, let's get rid of that. And let's do win. Duh. It's not window, it's win. That's why we got an error. Okay. So let's run that. Okay, so I've got this little turtle graphics window, and it's just running in a circle. And so if I hit this, okay, well, I still got the error there, Sid, but I think you're onto something though. So I think you're okay with that. Instead of break, I'm gonna try exit. Let's see what happens. I don't know if that's gonna work or not, but let's see if we can do that. Okay, again, it's running infinitely. I'm gonna stop it. Nope, still getting an error, Sid. So if I missed something, let me know. And let's get rid of that since we're not gonna use that. Oops, Control Z. But I'm gonna keep this here because it's not a bad idea. Okay, so back to the questions. Let's go back up here. Model, no. 28, no. Yeah, hi, hello. For me, when I try to install Pygame, it doesn't work. I tried many tutorials and none work. You know, that's funny. I have had the same experience with Pygame, and that is one of the reasons why I stopped. Well, it's one of the reasons why I don't use it. Is just because the installation is always a little bit tricky. The other reason is that I think that for the students that I teach and for my goals with Python as an educator, that the Turtle module does everything I need. So yeah, I don't really. Although I did do that live Pygame thing for a while there. It was cool, and I do want to learn more about it. But yeah, I've had the same problems installing it. So yeah, sorry about that. Okay, Acro, 26-year-old mechanical engineer. Wow. So, I mean, you know, Acro, the two main options are to go get what's called a post. I don't know where you're from, but to get like a post-bac degree online or in person and just study software engineering. The other alternative is to study on your own. There's three options. And then the other one is to do one of those 8-week, 12-week, 16-week boot camps. They can be a little pricey, but usually you end up getting a job pretty quickly. It all really depends where you're at and what your financial situation is. So Arcro, are you able to afford those options, or what are you looking for? LR, you can just listen to me while you play games. So I gotta sit here and work, and you get to play games. I don't know if that's a very fair deal, but yeah, I'm glad. I hope. Well, I was wondering how my voice sounds. I was hoping at this. I got a new microphone, so I hope it sounds good. And yeah, and coding with Parth. Which IDE are you currently working? So I get this question a lot, and if you take a look at the screen, the answer is Genie. And I actually have a video about it and what I do with Genie and why I use Genie. But let me see what I can get here. Hang on a second. So let me show you the website for genie.org. And I've used Visual Studio Code before. I use a couple other things, but I really like Genie. It's just really fast. It's really has a lot of features for a free piece of software, and it's just I really quite like this. And yeah, it's not perfect, nothing is, but it has all the things that I need. and it does enough to help you as a beginner, but it doesn't do too much that you get dependent upon it. And I think for learners, it's really, really helpful. It also does multiple languages. I mean, I normally do Python on this. I've done Java with it, and I've also done C. I think C++ with this as well. I can also do HTML. You can do JavaScript and all that kind of stuff with it. So basically, I guess any language really. But yeah, this is the one that I use, and I definitely recommend it. Taking a look at it. Okay, and Shiv Prasad. Yeah, I don't know Unity, and I don't really know that much about other languages as well. I could do some basic gaming stuff in Java, but I don't know a lot about the different Java. How can I put it? The different Java, game libraries. I still find Java to be a bit complex for the stuff that I want to do, but it's something that I would like to learn more about someday myself. And Wiki Coder, where are you from? I answered this earlier. Maybe you weren't here, but I am from the United States, but I live in Tokyo, Japan. So it is 7:49 p.m. here. Sid, thanks for your help. I will keep on making videos. Oh, Samip, 19, and you feel like you started late to programming. Yeah, and then like the other guy is 28 and he feels like he's late. So it's never too late. There's people in their 30s, there's people in their 40s that are writing their first line of code. So yeah, you're very, very young. You've got a lot of time ahead of you, but don't wait. Start today. Yeah, main loop isn't window. Yeah. And Shiver Prasad, yeah, like I said, Tokyo. Put all the code in the try and accept. Okay, that's a bit much, but I'll try that another time. Chino, why do you like the turtle module so much? It's a good question. The turtle module, the main reason is just that it's built in. I mean, it's not the main reason, but the fact that it's built in, as somebody else mentioned earlier, it's a bit difficult to install Pygame. Also, Pygame is just a lot harder to get started with. Like a basic setup for Pygame is much more complex. I teach middle school and high school students, and I think having something easier is better. And the turtle module, you can just get started and do stuff with it really easily. But it's also powerful enough that you can do some fairly complex games. If you check out my Ultimate Python Turtle Graphics game, it is amazing what you can do with turtle graphics if you know what you're doing. That took me years to figure out that stuff, but it's actually quite powerful. So yeah, it does everything I need. Doesn't do everything, but it does about what I need for the students that I teach. Okay, see you, Spacers. I might have missed you, but LR, do I think you should go to university or do apprentice for computer science? I'm kind of biased. I think a university education is really, really valuable. Um, but, maybe you could do both, study online and do the apprenticeship. If you're interested, check this organization out. I don't know where you're from. I've actually studied computer science at this school. And actually, I used to work for them, so I'm a little biased. But this is the University of the People. It's an online university. They have degrees in computer science and health science and education, business administration. But their computer science program, that's where I started my formal studies. And I mean, I knew stuff before that. And then I switched to a graduate program last year. But this is it's a good program for the price. It's only $100 a course, it's maybe $120 now. And it's definitely something to look into if you are looking for an inexpensive online computer science education. Kids International, how to make an AI with Python. AI is like really, really a big field. There's different kinds of AI. You can see Coding Made Easy is talking about TensorFlow. That's a library for machine learning, I believe. There's other kinds. There's AI algorithms, something like A star for pathfinding. That's a type of AI. There's the Minimax algorithm, which lets you you can make a chess game out of. So there's different types of AI. Old School Coder, welcome. Old School Coder, if you are who I'm thinking of, has a really amazing YouTube channel, and if you have a chance, you should definitely check that out. Let me show you that because that's I really enjoy that stuff. So old school, I hope you don't mind me giving you a little bit of a shout out here, um, unless you're a different old school coder. So old school coder, yeah. So this, probably old school coder and I are probably from the same generation. Old school, I was telling these guys earlier that my first computer was what you would call, I think you're British, is ZX81. I got that in 1982, so you guys can do the math on my age. So definitely you want to check out Old School Coder if you want to learn how computers worked. And there he is. And there's just a lot of really great content on here, especially like the historical stuff really interests me, of course. And you can see how these old computers worked. It's really fascinating. Yeah, so check that out. There's quite a lot of stuff here. So thanks for that, Old School. And thanks for joining us today. And of course, Pygame. Beware, chords only tabs 2. Pygame is a library that lets you make games. That's it, 2D games, full stop. It's pretty fast. It's got a lot of great features, but it's a little more complex than some other things, but less complex than others. And Diary, thank you so much. I'm glad my video game courses are helping you. I appreciate that. Yeah, Sid, thanks. Sorry, I know I'm a little behind now on the chat, but I'll try it another time. Ooh, War Thunder Try Hard. Hey, and I was helping out War Thunder today, but you didn't give me all the code, so I couldn't do much with that. Darwin, when will I complete Space Invaders? That's a great question. Space Invaders was actually like basically my first tutorial, and I actually let me put this link in the chat so you guys can check out Old School Coder. That is you, yeah. Old School Coder's awesome YouTuber, only has 2,000 subscribers, should have way, 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 way more. So Space Invaders, Darren, that was like the first video that I basically did. That was like the first tutorial I made for my students. Maybe not the first, but it's consistently been my most popular. And I didn't really even know what I was doing then when I wrote that, but it's got it's got like 1 million views altogether, like all the different parts of it. I'm planning to redo the entire thing. The original was written in Python 2.7. We're on like Python 3.9 now. So I really want to redo that completely and just make it better. So someday, maybe in the summer when I have time. Great programmer. Why don't you also teach web development? To be honest, the only web development I really do is I do a little bit of HTML, a little bit of CSS. I don't do a lot of web stuff. I don't teach a lot of it. I teach just the basics to my students. Do a little bit with JavaScript, and I just started using Django in Python for one of my grad school projects. But yeah, I don't know a lot about it yet, so I don't know that I'm comfortable teaching it. Yeah, Bobby, I'm sorry. I don't use Sublime Text 3, so I honestly can't help you with that. I was showing these guys earlier that what I use is Genie. You might want to try downloading, installing that, and see if it works. Or listen to the Great Programmer and use the terminal. And yeah, Old School. Yeah, Old School Coder uses VS Code. I definitely think that is a good idea. Let's see here. Okay, sorry, I'm a little behind the chat, but Old School Coder, you go for it. Yes, I go for it. So yeah, thanks, Old School Coder. That's I think people don't realize how much time and effort goes into just making videos and the time it takes. And although I do enjoy it, but it takes a lot of time, and I generally don't have a lot of time. But yeah, tonight I'm really glad to try this and just be able to have a chat and answer some questions from people. So that's pretty cool. So thanks for stopping by, everybody. Wow, Bobby, that is weird. I don't know what to tell you, because it should just be automatic. It's always been automatic. Even on Linux, it's pretty much automatic. So yeah, I can't help you with that one. I'm sorry. Kids International, are you going to do tutorials on HTML? I might actually. I do a little bit of an HTML unit with my grade 7 students, and I've been meaning to make some videos about it, but I haven't gotten around to making the videos yet. So yeah, I'd like to do like a little bit of the basics. Again, I'm not an expert on that subject, but maybe I can help you get started. And War Thunder. I don't have a link, but maybe if you share the links, then I can take a look at that. Actually, War Thunder. Where's the new code? Is there a link? Did you share that? NES Philip Gamer. That is great. I'm really happy to hear that. But please subscribe. And I'm glad it came up on the recommended page. I'm always curious how things work in YouTube. And I've been trying to work on different monetization things. I added a store recently. I'll show you. I don't know if you guys are interested in this or not, but I set up a store on my channel. And so if you go to store, you can actually buy hoodies and stuff with my logo on it. And I also have memberships now. Don't have memberships. No, I have a Patreon I set up, but I'm working on memberships. I haven't quite figured all this stuff out yet. It's a bit complicated, but I'll get to it someday. So yeah. So NES Philip Gamer, thank you for stopping by. Hope you stick around and learn a little Python. Insect Man, what would you do if Python one day said, okay, we're changing turtle to frog now? Interestingly, probably you guys don't know this. I mean, old school gamer surely knows this. The turtle module comes from a programming language called Logo. And this was developed by Seymour Papert. He's a really famous educational technologist and just all-around genius. And it was a little turtle. So you can see it says turtle graphics. And this came from like the 60s. And so it was actually, you can see here it says, it was actually a physical robot. Wow, I said in the late 40s. I had no idea. And then it turned into a computer language. So you can see it looks like a little turtle, and it actually had physical pens and would draw on the paper. And this is how they started teaching kids, and I assume adults as well, teaching kids how to program. And it was a very simple language that was designed to make programming accessible to the average person. And in that was very, very successful. And you can see some examples of turtle code over here through the ages. And there's all kinds of different versions. So the turtle module is actually an implementation of the Logo language from 1967. There you go. Interesting. So I don't think they're going to turn it to frog, but that would be quite a mind bender, Insect Man. Mehmet, salam alaikum. And Kids International, I did hit 30,000. I was very happy about that. And surprised, but happy. Sorry, I'm scrolling down through the comments and trying to talk as fast as I can. Kids International, I do not know any particular channel for you to look at for HTML. Sorry. Hello, Gokul. Hi, hello. Too much credit for old school coder. No. I know you're kidding, but yeah, no. Old school is like legit OG on the coding stuff. Well, that's cool. Coding made it easy. It made a neural network that classifies COVID-19 cells. That is very, very cool. Because we need to get rid of that. Bobby, VS Code is so large that I have no space in my PC. I don't know if there's a problem with your PC, but you probably have too much junk on it, and I would delete stuff. NES Philip Gamer, how do I feel a stream came on your recommended page? I feel awesome because I'm always trying to reach new people, and I like to have new viewers, new subscribers. I haven't really done this type of live chat before. I usually always do coding, but I thought this would be kind of an interesting thing to try. So yes, that's pretty cool. Yeah, all good for me, man. Let's see. Yeah, Darren, VS Code's great software. I just don't like Microsoft, so I choose not to use it. And Aslan, when I did a turtle program, the window is not responding. Yeah, that happens. But this is something that drives me nuts about viewers and beginners on my channel. People say my program isn't working, and I cannot help you unless I see the code. Shogun Ayo. Hi, hello, HTML. This is the language of web pages. So if you go to view the source, So HTML is, well, it's, okay, is this stuff here. Div, blah, 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 blah. HTML is like the content of your web page, basically. So maybe I'll do a short video about that sometime. Yeah, Old School Coder is working on a Pygame project cloning the 664 game Hunchback. And even better, it's a community project. So that's awesome, Old School. You know, it's weird. Like my most popular coding tutorials are the clones of like Space Invaders, the clone of Pong, and the clone of the Snake game. So it's not like anything original that I came up with. And just, yeah, people love that stuff. And I understand it. I love it too. So it's, yeah, I really should probably do more of those. But yeah, I kind of tend to do what my students are interested in. So when my students ask me to try something or they want to try something, that's the main impetus for my YouTube channel. But yeah, I do also try to listen to the subscribers, but I only have so much time in the day. Yeah, Sid, I don't know how to enable that, but if you share a link to it in the comments of one of my videos, I'll take a look. Oh, Old School is doing reverse engineering Grid Runner. Oh, yeah, we got to show them Grid Runner. These kids don't know what you're talking about. YouTube. Let's see. Grid Runner. Grid Runner game. Okay, so this is Grid Runner. This is one of those basic kind of classic games. It wasn't as popular as some, but you know, it had its day. And so looks a little bit like a Centipede. And you've got a character over here, and you got a character over here. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So you're working on that in 6502 assembly, huh? Yeah, I've always wanted to do some videos about 6502 assembly just for my students to learn that stuff. And I've tried a couple lessons with them, but it's just hard for them to wrap their heads around. It's complex for them. Okay, so yeah, Philip Gamer, NES Philip Gamer. The stream came on the right side saying up next or something. Well, hey, success, and here you are. So that's really good to hear. Oh, darn, upgraded the Space Invaders and added a windscreen. You know, that's really awesome. One of the things people often complain about with computer programming, learning programming, is they get stuck in just doing tutorials over and over again. And they don't really learn anything because they're just copying code. And, you know, copying is a nice first step, but you really got to do more than that. You got to start changing it. You got to start adding your own ideas. Otherwise, you'll never learn. Vericat, thank you very much. Yeah, I just threw that together. I don't know. I'll probably go through and lower the prices because you can choose the prices on it. But I just left everything as you know, just the defaults. So thanks. Hope you find something you like. MS logo, yeah, that was the classic, right? Let's see here. And Aslan, as I said, I can't help you because I don't know your code. And Bobby, that's great. Thank you. I'm glad you find the tutorials are interesting and are helping you. It's pretty cool. Ooh, great programmer has explained HTML is a markup language used to make structure and content of a website. That is a much better definition than I gave. So thanks for sharing that. The person who disliked is the person who doesn't have a question. Yeah, it's part of being on the internet, man. You get a lot of dislikes sometimes. But you know, also, like, I know I've scrolled through on my phone or I've scrolled through on my tablet and I've accidentally hit like, you know, downvote or dislike, not intentionally, just happens sometimes. So I'm assuming it was just an accident. Okay, Kids International, I'm learning Unity. It is cool. Good. Yeah, it's one of those things I'll probably learn someday, but I just don't have a need for it yet. Bearcat, why don't you try a game like Temple Run? I don't know what Temple Run is, Bearcat. I'm sorry. And thank you, Aslan. I love that you love my videos. See, now LR is demonstrating what I was talking about. He said, I followed your snake tutorial and reskinned it using information off your Space Invaders to make my game Wormmen. That's what I'm talking about. You take what's there, mix it up, mash it up, use your own ideas, and make it your own. That is how you learn. Sid, yeah, you can try DMing it on GitHub or just comment it on any one of my videos. I'll get a notification. Wow, old school. That's crazy. 6502 reverse engineer. So you're doing what, the 6502 what, emulation using Pygame? That's insane if that's what you're doing. I started my own 6502 emulator once, but yeah, it didn't go well. Richie, can you recreate Pac-Man? Maybe someday. That's definitely should be on my list of things to do. I have a maze tutorial that basically, if you follow that, where's that sucker at? This one here, this Python game maze programming tutorial. It's basically Pac-Man, but without the Pac-Man. It's kind of a similar style. So like, basically, you can see here you're making a maze, and then you've got your character walking through. So you could take this and really easily, very easily adapt it to make Pac-Man out of that. So you might want to give that a look. Okay. Great programmer. What is your real name? My name is Christian. Yes, War Thunder, try hard. My name is Christian. You got it. Coding with Parth. Good evening. Aslan, how is it being a YouTuber? I guess it's okay. It has its good days and bad days, just like anything else. But I mean, it's not my full-time job. Now if I could make a ton of money on it, of course I would make it my full-time job. But no, I have a full-time job. It's the biggest problem is it's just very hard to keep up with right now. I do try to respond to all my commenters and people that ask for help, but as the channel has grown, it's gotten harder and harder. I just don't have that much time these days, unfortunately. A lot going on in life. Hi, hello. Yeah, you gotta track your files a little bit better. Coding with Parth. What is Git and GitHub? Git is a system for for collaborating and building software. I'm not sure if I can even sign into mine. There I am. And so basically, it's a place for sharing code. It's a place for for working on code and collaborating on code. And so I have most of my code here. So if you're looking for, the source code to most of my projects, you'll find it there. I'll pop that into the chat. Oops, wrong button. But Git is the system. GitHub is a website where you can actually store stuff and share it publicly. Or you can share it privately and just keep it to yourself if you want. So old school grid runner 64 recording bytes. Wow. Now old school coder is just like really hardcore, and I mean, even though I understand everything he wrote there, I just wouldn't even begin to know how to do that. So my hat is off to you, sir. Lentha, when are we going to finish Space Arena? I was just looking at that today, and I'm like, dude, I've got to finish that game. And I was so like gung ho with it on the summer, and then school started again, and I was teaching, I was working, I got grad school. I just, oh my God, I'm so busy. Yeah, LR. It's baby steps. You gotta, if you learn 0.5%, you learn 0.5%. Sid, yeah, he caught up to this comment. Yes, I know, finally. Great program. What else do you like doing apart from coding and teaching? Probably the biggest thing I like doing is music. I'm an amateur musician. I play guitar. I play bass. I sort of sing. I'm in several different bands, a couple different bands now, I should say. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm into. If you're curious, here, I'll share a link to one of the bands I'm in. Complaints Department, SoundCloud. And we actually, the timing was really bad, but Complaints Department, is that us? That's our Facebook page. Let's see, I'll go to SoundCloud. Hang on a second. SoundCloud.com. So yeah, so anyway, I'm in this band. I'm the bass player in this particular band. And we actually recorded an EP, and it was like March. And yeah, then we plan to have like a release party. This is us, and then plan to have a release party, and then that was it. And then the stupid Corona hit, and here we are. So this is our album that I'm on. I wasn't on this album. That was a different set of people, but I joined, and there are 7 songs on it. So check it out if you're interested in music. Okay. And that's me, but you can't really see my face. I'm not sure why, but that's just the way it is. And yeah, so check us out if you get a chance. Here, I'll share that link as well. We're always happy to have new fans. Let's see here. Where are we at here? Programming with Ollie. I am just answering questions. Just kind of chatting, answering questions. And yeah, so if anybody has a question, feel free. I can't necessarily guarantee an answer, but I'll try. And Orange, yes, answer all you want. Bearcat, where did you learn coding? I mentioned this earlier. I started coding a long time ago. And this was my first computer. And I'll give you a hint. The computer came out in 1982. And I got it that year, I think. So yeah, I started programming when I was a child. And yeah, I just something I basically taught myself. A few years ago, I started actually taking courses and learning systematically, and now I'm in a grad program for learning computer science. Okay, Ruchi, a few modules for beginners. You know, the ones I teach my students are OS, time, Turtle module is the big one for graphics and stuff like that. So definitely check out my Turtle graphics tutorials. They're written for people older than you, but they're basically follower. Make a subway service. I'm not sure what that means. And thank you. It is a question and answer session. Okay, sorry. Kids, do I know how to play the piano? No, it is definitely something I want to learn, but I do play guitar and bass. This is mine for which field? You know, coding with Parth, you know, Python is basically in everything now. I think it recently surpassed Java as the most popular language, but it's used a lot in machine learning and AI these days. Hello, I do not communicate through Instagram. I have an Instagram account which you're welcome to follow, but I don't chat on Instagram. I just don't have time. So everything I do is basically through YouTube. And Crick, as I mentioned, music. Music's probably the big thing. Like I said, I'm a student. You know, I'm married, so I have a wife to take care of, and we like to hang out. And good luck with your English lesson. War Thunder, try hard. Abby, you've seen my video of playing guitar. Excellent. I don't know what Subway Surf means. Sorry. Coding with Parth. Are you from Tokyo only? I mean, I live in Tokyo, but I'm originally from the United States. And Orange, have you used VS Code? Yeah, I've used VS Code. It's not my favorite, though. I mean, it's good. It's good, but see if I can find it. Videos. Where's it at here? Because I do get this question. Here we go. I get this question all the time. And so I think this is Orange asked this question. Here, watch that video. Yeah, Nikhil, I get that question a lot too about AI. Maybe someday. And Dari, I am your inspiration. Thanks. Appreciate that. Lintha, take it easy. Let's see. Yeah, Sid. Sid says Sid uses Thonny. Yeah, I looked into Thonny. I tried using it. And I didn't hate it. But because Thonny is focused on Python only, as I mentioned, I teach Java. I also teach a little bit of HTML and CSS. I wanted one program that I could use with all my students for all of my classes. So it didn't really make sense to me to like switch programs for different things. And Orange, I am going to block you because you're getting on my nerves now. So I'll put Orange in timeout. How's that? See what happens there. Insect Man. Exactly. What I like about coding is you can create your own little world. It's like that's like one of my actually kind of long-term projects is I want to create like a little terrarium but in the computer. And old school, have I had a go at the new Python? No, I have not. Um, you know, I tend to focus on the things that I teach to my students and then also just what I need for grad school. And I want to, I just don't have time. I'm very, very busy. But someday I won't be. And I mean, PyQt5 is, from what I'm told, is much better, higher quality, but for me, the learning curve isn't worth it. I don't do a lot of GUI stuff anyway. Your song sounds like hi, hello. Your song sounds like my dad's favorite band from the '80s. That's us. We're more of a '90s band style, but yeah, you got the idea. And hey, Richie, coding with Parth, best ID for writing JavaScript. I don't think there is again, I don't do a lot with JavaScript, so I think probably anything will work. I mean, I'm sure Genie would do a good job. Versus code and great programmer. You have Youssef versus code and Pong. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. And YT Indian Zilla, can you give me $10? No. And let's go ahead and put that person in timeout as well. So CrickFun, I think Sublime is the best, is lightweight and easy to use. That's what I hear. But my understanding of Sublime is that it's actually a paid software, even though they have a free version. So rather than use somebody's unfree work and without compensating them, I prefer just to use Genie, which is truly free. Ooh, old school. Adding GUI to all the command line stuff you have written. That's cool. Yeah, like I said, I did this. It's up here. Where's my? Yeah, I did this thing a long time ago. Um, where is it? What the heck did I do with it? Maybe I deleted it. Oh no, show more. Okay, let's go back. So, yeah, the 6502 simulator thingy I did, and it just here I'll show it to you. It was I just could not get it to work right. Um, Extract that from my desktop, extract. So show the files, and then I think this was the program. So I'm going to open that with other application, Genie. Okay, so old school. This was my terrible 6502 assembly simulator thingy. Okay, so I have a little bit of I put some stuff in here. I put some code in here and numbers, and it was very Commodore 64 inspired. So it's just a real simple. So you can see down here, I've got the assembly code going, and then basically it's just filling in colors through my thing. And you can see over here the registers, the different flags. Again, I never really fully implemented it, but I got the program counter here, and you can see how it does like 256 bytes. Cause that was the maximum offset I could figure out at the time, and then it works, but it's just not it just didn't do what I wanted it to do. I had trouble with the turtle module and TK inter and trying to get it on the right speed, and just it was tons and tons of problems. But it was a fun experiment, and I'll come back to that someday. So yeah, but yeah, you can see down here I got all these different basic assembly code stuff here from 6502. I miss those days. Coding with Parth, are you an MCU fan? Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen them all, but I like this. Yeah, old school. Definitely fork that. Again, it's nothing special. It's pretty bad actually, but do I know about Hacktoberfest? I do not know about Hacktoberfest. Honestly, you guys. Oh, okay, yeah. My Pong tutorial, great programmer. I did use Visual Studio Code, but like I said, I've since switched to Genie, which I prefer now. Ruchi, yeah, well, moms are like that. They are concerned about you. They do it from love. Anyway, so listen, everybody. It's it's been about an hour, and I think that's about what I can do. I need to get a little R&R here before got to go to work tomorrow. But yeah, I do appreciate everybody that stopped by. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And as I always appreciate subscribers. And yeah, it's been 1 hour and 6 minutes. So I hope I helped answer a few questions. I don't know, maybe it wasn't not the smartest guy in the world, but I do my best. And again, there was some cool stuff here. So my first computer, definitely really happy to see old school coder here. Another person like me, it's getting a bit longer in the tooth. And yeah, it's cool. So I was really glad you stopped by. Thank you for that. Coding with Parth, can you develop Android apps with Python? My understanding is yes, you can using something called Kivy. And Old School Coder, my pleasure. You are quite welcome. And Insects Man, you are welcome. Sid, good night. Acrobe, I don't know. Maybe next week if I can, if I have time. Depends on my grad school and life schedule. Crick Funda, goodbye. Hi, hello. I'm glad you got your parents figured out. And thanks, Richard. Yes, use Kivy. And War Thunder, try hard. You have a good one. Thanks so much. So peace out, y'all. Take care.